Geek Speak show at San Diego Comic-Con. Outside of the heat, finally with me is Bob Proehl. Bob, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing all right.
Are you enjoying Comic-Con so far?
Yeah, it's been great.
You had a chance to go out there and enjoy the madness?
Yeah, I've been here since Wednesday, so I've gotten some time out on the con floor.
It's your first one, or you've been here before?
I haven't been to San Diego before. It's my fourth convention this year at this point, but
not the big one.
No,
yeah.
No. New York City is my usual go-to for big ones, and I was warned that like the scale of San Diego was just. I'm like, oh, it's the same number of attendees, so it's probably about the same. But no, it's not at all. It's just huge. It really does.
This is one where people can describe it, but it's not until you actually hear that you realize, oh, yeah, it is huge.
I know, and people kept telling me that too. They're like, I could try to describe it to you, but it wouldn't come across.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you should try, and no, that they were right.
Yeah. So we're here talking about your book. You're not a cosplayer. He's not here to promote a new movie, but it's your book. It's called 100,000 Worlds, not words.
Thank you for making that distinction.
How
I get that a lot.
How would you describe the book?
It's about cons. It's a mother and a son traveling cross country, and Valerie Torrey is the main character, is a former cult television actress on a X-Files type show. Who is traveling cross-country with her 9-year-old son, Alex, and when they get to the West Coast, she's going to have to hand over custody to her former co-star and estranged husband, and Alex's father. And so it kind of follows them through a series of conventions, and they interact with fans and with writers and artists. I mean, it narrows the focus of conventions down to comics a little bit. It's not nearly as all-encompassing as what we have down the street there.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know that you could accurately, like we said, it's tough to describe in words just how much stuff is going on. But so it's a mother-son story, but it's kind of a love letter to fandom. I mean, I've been a comic book fan since I was just a sprog, and it's just it's been such an important part of my life growing up and still as an adult, and so this was a chance to sort of look at fandom in the state that it is right now, and really think for myself as a parent how I wanted to see my kids interact with that.
Yeah. And I haven't read it yet. I understand it's waiting for me when we get back to San Francisco, but what made you decide to include the con circuit, the con life into that? Because it could be taken both ways. It's just like you said, it's a story about family, but it's also, like you said, a love letter to this, like the geek culture, the nerd culture. So what made you want to integrate the two?
Well, I was heading up to New York City Comic-Con, which, have you been?
Not to that one. No.
It's in a really crappy part of Manhattan. So the Javits Center up there, it's like you get out at Times Square and then you hike up about half an hour, 20 minutes. And I was walking up to the con one year, and you get this amazing thing where, like, out of the sort of general population, it's just like suddenly it's more and more people like me. It's more, like it's more and more people in costumes or like wearing comic book T-shirts, and I was
like
so.
That as we're speaking.
Yeah. And you get this environment where people are just really psyched about stories, whether it's comic books or video games or TV or movies. Like, when you come down to it, like, these are people that are really invested in fictional worlds, and I, of course, as someone who makes things up for a living, like, I was really excited about that. And what it looks like as a sort of an environment. And then, kids, I had my stepson at the time that I was writing this was 8,
mm-hmm.
and watching the way that he interacted with stories was really interesting to me. And so the idea of putting a kid in an environment like this and seeing how he sort of walks around was something that I wanted to try. And then also Valerie, who's sort of in the culture and out of it. She's not herself a fan. She's an object of fandom, so she has a certain view on things. There's a female comic book writer in the book who has that same sort of insider-outsider status where she's a big comic book fan. She's working in, an industry that is still pretty male-dominated.
Yeah.
And so just kind of putting all these things on the table and watching how they play out.
Yeah, and it's just interesting that you take that route with the kids and how do they react, because I see that a lot with my kids, but also the kids that I do see here, like at a convention like a San Diego Comic-Con, because a lot of these properties, whether it be comic book, a movie, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever it is, a lot of people don't see that, but they're used as an escape or therapy, even you can think of it, where your home life may not be the best, but you use those worlds to escape. So. Like I said, I haven't read it yet, but I like just what it sounds like. I like the fact that you don't think it's going to be a happy ending because it's going to be handed off to somebody else. You're going to lose his mom, but you've got that, the fantasy world, like what is Disneyland for geeks, I call it, when you go to a convention like this. You have that as the background. So I like that part of it.
Yeah, people use escapism in such a disparaging way, and it's like, first of all, there are people that need it. Mm-hmm. Like, there are people who it's really important, and I think, I'm a big Grant Morrison fan, and he talks pretty explicitly about like how stuff like this can work as a sort of immune system. Yeah. As like, we build these worlds to protect ourselves and to make ourselves better and stronger, and it's like I'm a better person for reading superhero comics. Mm-hmm. Like, it's and I think a lot of people, that's their interaction with these narratives and with these stories, is that like it's protective, it's additive, it makes them better.
Yeah. Now the book's been out for a while, but what's been the reaction from con goers or geeks, if you want to, and just regular people? What has been the reaction to it?
It's been largely really positive. I've been, like I said, I've been going to a couple conventions and done a couple readings, both at I've done some comic book stores and some, traditional bookstores. And one of the things that I wanted to do was portray fandom in a more positive way to non-fans. Yeah. It really bothers me that the pop culture representation of fandom is often the sort of the Big Bang Theory, which it's kind of terrible. It's it's a kind of self-loathing version of fandom, and it's not true. It's not accurate. It's not what you see over there.
Well, I've said it. I'm there with you. I've said it many times on the Geek Speak show that's not one of my favorite shows.
I don't know that it was ever accurate. I don't. I look at that having been a fan for 20 some years. I'm like, I don't remember a time that those were the people that were around. And so I wanted to show even if you're not a superhero fan, there's something that you're excited about, and to get across to a sort of general readership how awesome it is to be excited about things. And that's one of the great things about conventions when you boil it right down. It's this opportunity that most of us don't have day to day to just be unabashedly excited about something that we love. And, there's a lot of stuff over there that is not stuff that I'm into, but I'm so psyched to see people, I'm not a big gamer, but when I see somebody who's made this giant ass sword for themselves, I'm like, right on, way to make that giant ass sword and build spiky hair for yourself.
Yeah, well, one of the things I like, and in fact, I saw it on the way over here to talk to you, is, again, going back to the book, the kids' reaction. It was a cosplayer. I think they were Darth Vader or something. But to the kid, the way she took a picture with the Darth Vader, and the way she reacted was, cool, you're Darth Vader. I just took a picture with Darth Vader. To them, it's the real person. So it's again, going back to I don't know if an escape is the right word, but it definitely takes you away from. And I know kids may not have it that hard, when you grow up, but being here at a convention like this, that reaction is worth it. Where us as creators, we may think, and I'm sure you've hit those walls. Why am I doing this? Nobody cares. But then when you hear the crowd in a Hall H or a Ballroom 20, and you have thousands of people coming to have you sign their book, all that stuff. That's what validates it. And for a kid, taking a picture with who they think is Darth Vader, that's everything to them.
There was a picture that went around the internet. This was like about the time that I was working on the book, of a kid at a convention who had gotten lost and went up to Wonder Woman and the Flash and was like,
like, I've seen that picture.
I get a little misty thinking about it, but like knowing that these are people that would help.
Yeah.
And that kind of the way that kids invest in fictions is really like, it's really great. And then it's something that, like, being a fan kind of continues that. It kind of grows out of, like, again, childish is like something that gets used disparagingly, but like there's something great about the way kids react to stories. And there's something great about being able to bring that over into your adult life. And, you know, it's different, obviously, and it's more savvy and more mature, but like, I think there's something really healthy about it.
Yeah, let me jump on you were saying there for a second, not to get away from the book, but do you think that the geek culture, the con culture, if you want to call it, is it represented correctly in media? I mean, I don't know if you've seen Morgan Spurlock did a Comic-Con documentary a few years ago.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that one, I won't spoil it for you, but I call it a love letter to Comic-Con, because I mean, we know what Morgan is known for, and when David Glanzer from Comic-Con, when we talked about it, we were a little hesitant. We're like, well, is he just gonna kind of like the Big Bang Theory? Oh, look at these guys, look at that dork over there. It's not that at all.
Oh, that's good.
And
I was a little wary of it for that same reason.
He doesn't. I mean, he shows the Hall H and everything else. I mean, how could you not? It's part of San Diego. But he also followed the 4 subjects are people that come here to be on the other side.
Right.
Some are artists that are trying to get their portfolio reviewed. Others are cosplayers who are trying to build the best costume. Another one is his whole mission for Comic-Con is to get that one collector toy, the exclusive that you have. But all of it, the whole thing, I call it a love letter to Comic-Con and the geek culture, really. Again, this book, I haven't read it, but there are a lot of books like that dealing with geek culture, with our culture. Ready Player One is another one that comes to mind. Those obviously they represent what it really is, but like things like the Big Bang Theory, the shows or the media that over stereotypes it, is that you think that will ever go away and people finally oh, that's what it really is, or will we always be the Big Bang Theory?
I think it is changing, and I think part of that is just like some of these sort of corporate property, like superhero movies are so ubiquitous now. Like it's tough to remember that wasn't the case like 15 years ago, that like when they made X-Men, they're like, well, this is risky, and superheroes on film is a really not a great idea.
Go back to even Blade when that came out.
That
was even risky because that property that nobody even knew, and they just threw it out there.
But I think it is changing, but I think there will always be a sort of a little bit of a like, look at those guys thing, and to some extent that's fine, and I think that cons have gotten to the point where like people come for that reason. I think people come to people watch as much as maybe not nearly as many as come because they're fans. But there's always, it is weird looking. Like let's be honest here. And that like it's awesome and weird looking, but I think when you're doing like a 30-second spot on the morning news, like that may always be the language. It's like like look at these.
You've got to Hollywood it up, as I say.
Right.
Yeah, so the book is out, like I said. I mean, where can they get it, and where can they follow you on?
You can get it pretty much anywhere. I'm on Twitter at Bob Proehl on Twitter, and same thing on Instagram. The book's on Amazon, but if you're lucky enough to have an independent bookstore near you, you should get it there, because the struggle is real.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say books are good, but that's even better. Bob Proehl, everybody. Thanks a lot, Bob.
Thanks very much.